Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Port York. Born and raised in Port York.
Okay.
First house was on 15th Street that I remember. The second house was on Carlton. That's where
Who did you live with? Who did you live with?
I lived with Granny and Grandpa Charlie Sweet. Or Schrader. Oh, you're recording this, right?
Yeah.
Schrader. They were the maternal grandparents.
How come you didn't live with your parents? Well, your dad.
My dad was killed when I was just a couple of months old. And my mother wasn't around. But in the house that I was raised in, there was my grandmother and grandfather. There was my sister and I. There was my Uncle Pete, my Aunt Pauline, and my Uncle Larry. And then Ronnie, my cousin Ronnie.
Okay. Do you have any animals?
I had dogs, I had cats, I had rabbits, I had birds, I had fish, and I had turtles.
Like all at the same time?
No, all over
different.
the years.
Where did you meet Ken?
We pretty much grew up together because his family and my family were friends. My Aunt Helen was married to his cousin Junior, but my grandparents and his aunt and uncle were good friends.
How is your generation different from mine?
Your generation is more tech savvy. Females have a lot more opportunity to do something with their life compared to when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
When I graduated, you could be a nurse, a teacher, a secretary, a waitress.
That was it?
Yeah, a stewardess. You were pretty much, you couldn't do everything.
What jobs did you have? Like,
I had no other than babysitting when I was growing up. That's the only thing I did.
You don't have any jobs in high school or anything?
No, just babysitting.
What did you do after high school?
I went to school to be a hairdresser. And I worked as a hairdresser.
Did you want your own place?
And own my own business. And then I worked for somebody. And then I owned my own business. And then I went to work in the factory. I went to work in the pickle factory for about 6 weeks till I got into the factory where I'm at now. And I've been there 32 years.
What was your favorite childhood memory? And you also have to tell me about the pavement and gravel road where you had that roller skating party.
Oh. Favorite childhood memory?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't remember a whole lot, but I remember when we lived on 15th Street and the water used to drain down on the sidewalk, and we had a little area that was probably only 4 feet long, maybe 2 feet wide, and we used to ice skate on that. I remember trying to fly by taping cardboard to my arms and jumping off the shed roof. I remember trying to parachute with an umbrella off the shed roof. I suppose Linda Smith was probably a good memory growing up. She was the girl that lived down the street. Her and I were good friends as kids. We got into a little bit of mischief once in a while.
What about the roller skating party?
When we moved to the house on Carlton Street, when we first moved there, the road was mud, was gravel. And then we got to play in the mud because my cousin Ronnie had all these good John Deere toys, and he was too young to play in the road, so us kids used to play in the road with him, build dams and stuff. Well, then when they paved the road and they had the road blocked off for a couple of weeks, the church group that I belonged to, the teenagers, we had dances and we had roller skating parties on the road. But the house on Carlton Street had a 2.5 car garage, so in the summertime we used to clean out the garage and put our record player in there, and then that was our roller rink. And then we had a big backyard, and in the wintertime we flooded the backyard, had our record player, and we had lights out there, and we ice skated in the backyard.
What was high school like?
High school was high school. You had your classes you had to take, and it was just, I don't know if there was anything special about high school.
Wasn't it high school where Mr. Harrison got after that boy and his mom came?
No.
Oh.
What do you think, like, high school is different, like, now? Like, from your high school? Do you think it's, like, better? Do you think it's worse?
Well, I think it's better in the fact that, you have more technology, but I think it's worse in that technology has spoiled kids as to, they have to have calculators to do math. They do all the texting, so they're not good spellers, nor are they good writers. I think they need to go back to some of the old-fashioned stuff.
Hey, Grandma. I think we need calculators. What did you think your plans would be in high school? Like, did you plan on going to college?
I had planned on going to college to be a school teacher.
In what subject?
Just grade school. But I ended up going to be a hairdresser with the idea that I would be a hairdresser and I could pay my way through college by doing hair, and I ended up becoming a hairdresser and then getting married.
Okay, and then historical, like, do you remember any, like, historical events?
I remember when the first man on the moon, and everybody sat in their classroom and they played it on the PA off the radio. I remember that. I remember when John F. Kennedy was killed, I was living up in Glenny, and we were in Tawa shopping, and they announced on over the store intercom that he had been killed, and everybody couldn't believe that happened. I remember the big riot in Detroit. My Uncle Cliff and 4 of his kids were down there at a Tigers game, and we were worried about their safety, but they made it back and okay. I remember the tornado when it went down Lapeer, and we got sent home from school, and we were like 5 blocks from Lapeer. And I remember Grandpa Charlie saying, "What are you kids doing home?" And we told him there was going to be a tornado, and he said there's no such thing as a tornado in Michigan, and went down Lapeer.